Besides Dr. Milton Erickson, what other therapists and practitioners have influenced the training at the Orca Institute?
There are quite a few. To name a few, we have Dr. Serge King, who's a Hawaiian shaman in Hawaii. We have Stephen Gilligan, who's been a strong influence on myself and our teachers. Ram Dass is another person who's been a strong influence, especially for me, because of my background in things like different types of meditation. Others as well, many others. One of the things we attempt to do is teach hypnotherapy as an integration of many different approaches. As opposed to learning to be a hypnotist and learning counseling, which is very important, when you put those two together, you not only get hypnotherapy, but it touches on many related areas also. And that's a very important part, to show how things integrate.
How is the learning at the Orca Institute different from other institutions?
It's a good question. When I started the Orca Institute in 1986, I remembered my public school training, and I hated it. And then I remembered my high school training, and I hated that more. And the reason is because I really didn't feel it was the best way to learn material. And one thing about hypnosis and counseling is that it's very experiential. And it's very difficult to teach experiential material in a very didactic way. You have to have a lot of interaction, a lot of feedback. And so this was my opportunity to set up the training exactly the way I wanted it. And I think we've accomplished that. If anything, I would define it as the opposite of school. One of the things I do with students is when they're just learning to do hypnosis and they're not really sure of themselves, I suggest to them that whatever they're going to do, they do it wrong. And the reason, sounds kind of strange, but the reason is that people are such perfectionists that there's a fear of not doing it right. And here is our opportunity to let go of all of that and give themselves permission to do it wrong. And guess what? They usually end up doing it right.
The class portion of your training occurs about once a month. What is covered in class?
In the class, it's a combination of a number of things. It's partly lecture. It's partly geared to the group that is there at that time. It's a lot of experiential. Newer students are working with older students. The classes are ongoing. So new students usually play the client in our role-playing sessions. Older students have an opportunity to work with more variety of clients. So it benefits both ways, and newer students learn from the older students.
Do your courses have a practicum, and what does it entail?
The practicum for the basic course is 30 hours. The student needs to work with 6 clients, approximately 5 sessions each, so a total of 30 sessions. They need to take notes on each session, submit that. There's always support and there's always mentorship through myself or the other teachers if they have any questions or if they're not sure who to take on. Also, they need to either videotape or in class do a session for evaluation. For the diploma course, it's basically the same format. The only difference is that there's 60 sessions that the diploma student needs to do. 2 of those sessions need to be submitted. And in addition to the first session in the basic section that needs to be submitted as well.
Is there a difference between a hypnotist and a counseling hypnotherapist?
Yes, there is. And I might be wrong, but I think we coined the term counseling hypnotherapist way back in '86. And the reason that we came up with that term is that too often people, the general public, thinks of someone doing hypnosis as a hypnotist. Even worse, a stage hypnotist, which has nothing to do with counseling or therapy. So counseling hypnotherapist seems to entail an integration of those two terms that more accurately fits the way we train our students.